In today's world where you can get wireless systems for about $150 for a guitar, why would anybody want to drop $599 on one of these? Let's take a look at what this thing can do, check out the specs, all that kind of stuff. Buckle your seatbelts, it's about to get nerdy in here. So a couple weeks ago, Sennheiser hit me up and they asked me, hey, can you do a video on our Evolution wireless system? I'm like, hell yes. I'm a huge fan of the Sennheiser brand. I have a lot of their microphones. They make the 421, one of the de facto standard tom mics. They're absolutely amazing. I've got a number of other Sennheisers kicking around in the studio here. And I've got no problem recommending any of their stuff. I mean, this is a little package I carry in my travel bag, and I've got the Sennheiser wireless microphone system set up for a lavalier. If I want to hook it into my GH5, this just goes in my travel bag, and anywhere on the road I'm going to. I brought it with me to Germany several times. It just works. It gets the job done. Yeah, Sennheiser wireless is great. This is a little bit more advanced for the guitar players. And the reason being is it operates, and let me get the specs right here, the 520 to 576 megahertz range, which means it's got a very broad spectrum. So if you're at a gig somewhere and it starts filling up and you've got a bunch of people jumping on Wi-Fi, you're not going to be competing for the same frequencies. That is the Achilles heel for a lot of different wireless systems out there. At least you guys have been telling me that in the comments over the years. I've looked at, some other much more affordable ones, and a lot of guys are saying, yeah, they're great until you play a gig that starts to fill up, and then all of a sudden it doesn't work because everybody's using the same frequencies. Now, I just consulted Google, and apparently 5G will work on like 700 megahertz to like 2,500 megahertz. So we're a little bit lower in the spectrum, and shouldn't be a big problem competing with everybody trying to jump on Wi-Fi at a gig. So that's a big plus. The last thing you want to do is have your guitar dropping out in the middle of a show. Now, the really important thing about this whole system, it comes with a live app, and this thing works great. You just pick your receiver, it sets up, it finds it over Bluetooth. It's absolutely phenomenal. And you can fire up this little receiver here. Just hit the switch, power it on, and you can see it just dropped in like that, like no problem whatsoever. Now, setting this up was not an issue at all. I just updated the firmware via the app for both the receiver and the transmitter. No problem at all. We've got all kinds of options to sync the transmitter. All you got to do is hit the little button here, wait for a little blue flashing light, and boom, we're good. That is done. Synced. No problem. Finding the receiver was no problem either for the app. That's great. And the important thing is if you don't like the band you're sitting on, let's say you do get a couple of dropouts, that kind of thing, you just go in the app, hit auto scan, and let's see, it'll find something a little bit safer. And then we need to sync the transmitter, drop that in place, hit the little button, and let's see what happens here. It's syncing. Oh, that was fast. Wow. I found that no problem whatsoever. That is absolutely fantastic. Tell you what, let me grab a guitar here. I'm going to hook it up and I'm going to show you how to set the gain levels on this thing. And then we're going to run it outside and try it out and just do a little bit of a distance test. I got to say, I was messing with this last night and it took a couple seconds to find the frequencies and then sync to the receiver and whatnot. But since I just installed the firmware upgrade, wow, is that ever fantastic. I got to say, nice touch. Sennheiser included was adding the batteries in. That comes in nice. As a kid who grew up in the 70s and grew up with the words batteries not included on most of my toys growing up, I gotta say the fact that they included batteries in this was great. I love the fact that the battery pack, the door on this locks in place, but it's really easy to open. So if you're in the middle of a gig and you got to swap those batteries out quick, then you're not going to have any kind of issue whatsoever getting a new set of batteries in and getting back out on stage as quickly as possible. That's absolutely fantastic. Now, another great thing is I know this whole system is set up to work with other Sennheiser wireless systems and they won't step on each other. That's what that whole auto sync is for, as well as avoiding conflicts with other wireless units as well. So not a problem at all. I really like the unit itself. It's got a couple of nice graphs here. Obviously, it's showing us what kind of strength we're getting for the RF. The AF, the gain, we're going to explain what that's in a minute. And it even gives you a battery meter so you can see just how much juice is left there. So gonna grab a guitar here. We're gonna fire it up and see what we get. Oh, and I gotta close the studio door so I don't go deaf. Okay, so it's important to note we've got a little switch here for mute. There we go. We've actually got some volume now. Let me just throw this in my pocket. So yeah, we've got the wireless up and running. I was doing a little drum room cleanup last night. We had to get things set back up after our trip up the Mississauga. So I kind of forgot I moved my cabinet and had to move my mics back into place. So yeah, we're using the incredible Celestion EVH speakers in conjunction with the brand new hemp backs that nobody really has yet. Yeah, really liking the sound of that. But yeah, I'm completely wireless here. I've got the belt pack just kind of in my front pocket here for a minute, just to show what's going on. And, you know, the great thing is you can see your levels here. Tells you exactly where you're at, what gain you're at, what's your output gain. Everything you need is right there. And best of all, it's controllable by the app. Let me pull this up for a sec. I'll show you exactly what I mean. You know, we just pull this up and we can set our output levels. Now, this is probably going to drop out because I've got the cock blocker on, but if I can set up the gain here. We're going to take this down to like 12 dBs a gain, see what happens. That's at 0 dBs a gain. Obviously, that we're not getting a lot of output going to the amp at this point. I'm not even going to try and attempt to use the front panel controls here because everything's backwards from where I'm sitting. Okay, that's a little bug we still got there. The receiver is back being controlled and I still got connection to the receiver lost. So I'm going to crank the gain up to where I had it about 27. I think that seemed to be about the sweet spot last night. And going to click that over, see what we get. And yeah, we're back at 27 and we should be absolutely fine here. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. And yeah, this feels right. And the great thing is this will definitely let you know if you're clipping the output. If we pull this back up to say 33 dBs a gain, go over here, we should see a clip meter here. So yeah, that's definitely giving us a warning to not go too far on the output. Like that. So we're going to just drop that back down to 27 because that seemed to be about the sweet spot and that seemed to work pretty damn well. We're back at 27. Cool. And we're good to go. That level is set. That's great. I tried that on this guitar. I also tried it on my Hellraiser with EMGs. That seemed to be about right. Lots of headroom there. We don't have to worry about clipping. So that's a really good thing. Like I said, I love the fact I can just fine tune this. All right, so I just did a quick consultation with the manual there and I'm going to set the AF out. And what that is how strong of a signal is coming out of the wireless receiver to the amp itself. And right now I've got it set to 18 dBs a gain. That's nice, but if I take that down to like 0 dBs, that's gonna be a much weaker signal. I don't even know if that's gonna get through my gate. Okay, that might work. If you're playing some AC/DC riffs or something like that, you know. and you're not doing ultra high gain stuff, yeah, sure, that's the thing. But if we're doing modern metal, we want to, crank up the juice, so to speak. Let's take that AF out all the way like it should be at maximum, because, hey, life's too short for weak signals. And yeah, we get that crushing distortion once again. Yeah, that is great. That feels really comfortable. Like I said, with a little bit of cock blocker gate going on my amp track. That's nice. That just feels right. I totally forgot I'm actually playing wirelessly there for a second. There's like no latency at all that I'm feeling like. This feels good. Yeah, that's great. I'm not hearing any issues in one. The other thing the manual said was you have to give this thing line of sight. In other words, the antennas need to have some kind of direct view of the transmitters. So I'm going to do a little line of sight test. I'm going to set this up. I'm going to throw on a camera. I'm going to throw on a strap on another guitar. I'm going to take a walk in my backyard, but I'm not anticipating we get 100% signal without any kind of dropouts or anything, because we'll be transmitting through concrete. I'm just kind of curious how far away we can go. Then we're going to move the receiver outside and test again and see just how far we can go without any dropouts and whatnot. Let me set that up in just a moment. Okay, so we're just going to do distance test 1. I've got my DJI Pocket 2 camera here with a little Bluetooth here. We've still got this going, and the amp. Now, I tried this last night and I couldn't quite get to the fence line without it having some intermittent drop-outs. I'm wondering if the firmware is going to help, but remember, we're transmitting through concrete here. I'm also going to do a second test where we put the receiver outside and have a direct line of sight to the transmitter pack and just see what we get at about 150 feet. Should be okay. I'm going to just take a little walk outside and see what happens. Oh, and it is bright out there. It's kind of a nice warm November day. And yeah. We're in luck. Let's make sure we're transmitting here. Oh yeah, I can hear a little bit of rumble outside. There's a lot of leaves rumbling, believe it or not. So that's actually going to interfere with my ability to hear anything coming out of the studio when we get down to the fence line. I mean, like, this is where I'm standing. This is where we're going. Yeah, welcome to my backyard. It's kind of like having your own little private park. And I got real tired of cutting the grass, so I'd just like to say thank you oh so much to Darren, the guy who cuts my grass every summer. Dude, you fucking rule. And anyway, yeah, so I've got the Spectre Hellraiser here. So I'm going to take a walk with this and see if we get any kind of dropouts since we updated the firmware, and we'll see how it goes. Okay. Okay, we're definitely transmitting and receiving, and there goes an airplane somewhere up there. Can't hear it, but literally louder than what's coming out of my studio right now. So we're just going to see if we get any kind of dropouts at all as we walk back here. And I'm not hearing the amp at all at this point. Yeah, not doing a concerto or anything. I'm just testing for distance. We're taking quite a walk here. So anyway, we're at the back fence line here. I don't know if we're going to get anything going on or not, but let's just see if we get anything. Kind of hard to play guitar one-handed. Kind of hard to play guitar one-handed like this, so I'm going to set it up and see what we get. Let's try that. Might be hearing just the tiniest little rumble come out of the studio, but it's seriously so hard to hear what's going on. This is why I've been here 15 years and never had a single noise complaint. We built a really quiet studio. So I'm just gonna take a little walk here. All right, that might do the trick. Let's take a look. I'm gonna run back into the studio here, take a little peek, and see if we got any dropouts and whatnot. And we're gonna set up part 2 here in a minute and see what happens when we have the receiver outdoors. Okay, so just made it inside. As you can see, I've got the auto dimming sunglasses. We're gonna just take a look here and see what happened, see if we got any dropouts. Okay, we've got the receiver outdoors. We're sitting here in the control room with the receiver outdoors. This seems to be working pretty damn well. Yeah, seems to be doing the trick. So what I'm gonna do is do the distance test one more time, walk to the backyard, and this is not tracking my face at all. Hey DJI, what in the actual fuck is this? You know, glad I paid all that money for this camera that doesn't track a face very well. Where's my fucking firmware update, DJI? This is kind of pathetic. Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? Anyway, so I'm gonna take another walk to the backyard and see what we get. Meanwhile, yeah, if you're looking at a DJI Pocket 2 and you're expecting it to do face tracking, yeah, don't buy it, because wow, what a piece of shite. I think I'm gonna do a Fearless Gear review on this thing. All right, so we've got the transmitter set up right here on my air conditioner, and we're just gonna take a walk here to the backyard, see what we get, and just see how well this thing holds up. I mean, like, we should be getting no problem. Yeah, I can hear a little bit of chug over the rustle of the leaves, just kind of in the background there. It's one of the thing about fall, it sounds beautiful out here, but I just can't hear the amp coming out of my studio. That attests to a good build. Once again, that was based on a John Sayers design, and John just passed away recently, so that's a real shame. I was a big fan of his work. He was hugely inspirational to a lot of small studio owners throughout the world, and the world is a worse place because he's no longer in it, and I think that really sucks. So, you know, just want to say a great big salute to John Sayers. If it weren't for him, myself and a lot of other people probably wouldn't have careers. Okay, so we're at the back fence line yet again. Let's see if we get any dropouts this time. Let's see what happens. Ugh, okay. Sure, I'm up all the way. So I've got no idea if any of this is transmitting or receiving or what. We'll just have to pull it up on the computer here in a sec and see if it works. I mean, like, we've definitely got direct line of sight to the receiver. Wow, I left my freaking studio door open. I still can't hear anything. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick look and see how we did and see if we had any dropouts or not with having a direct line of sight, see if that makes any kind of difference. All right, so I just checked all the files for what happened when we put the receiver outdoors, and I gotta say it performed flawlessly. So as long as you're not doing something unrealistic, like trying to transmit at 150 feet away into concrete cinder block, this thing should work without any issues whatsoever. I really like the system. I like how easy it connects and how reliable it really is. Like I said, just don't make it do anything it's not designed to. As long as you got line of sight, this thing's gonna work great. Now, an added bonus of this is the fact that I'm actually using the lavalier mic that I've got from the aforementioned wireless system I'm using for my GH5. I was talking with Henning Pauly last night, and poor Henning never gets enough credit. If you've got a minute, go over to his channel and subscribe. He could really use it. He's a very knowledgeable dude. He was saying, you know, take some of those, take one of those Sennheiser lavalier mics and hook it up to the transmitter because it's compatible. So all of a sudden, not only do I have a guitar wireless, I've got a wireless lavalier mic. And here's the insane thing. I've got it into my 1073 OPX, and it's going into my distressor as well. So you can just see the distressor is clamping down on that signal. So that's pretty cool. I'm not going to be bound by this mic up here, even though, you know, that's a really amazing mic. The fact that I can now do some serious wireless sessions in here with my favorite signal chain ever for voiceover is absolutely phenomenal. That's kind of a nice bonus. So I'm definitely going to be hanging on to this unit because I'm sure it's going to come in handy at one point or another. I'm still planning on either building a new studio or buying a place that I can convert into a studio. So hopefully we're going to have a little more space and I'll get to do a little bit more wireless stuff. So that is a huge win in my book. The fact that it's compatible with some of the other systems that they've already got in their line. I think that's just fucking amazing, actually. So if you're looking at getting a badass wireless system, check out the Sennheiser. I'll have some links in the description below. I'll have links for Thomann and Sweet Water. Yes, they're affiliate links. So click a link, you know, help the show out, that kind of thing. It just helps me pay the bills, all that kind of stuff. Oh yeah, also wanted to mention that they do include a rack mount kit for this thing. So if you want to drop it into your guitar rack for gigging, whatnot, that's not going to be an issue at all. I think that's a total win. Sennheiser's got a beast of a system here. It's definitely worth taking a look. All right, just want to give a great big shout out to all you guys for watching. I want to thank Sennheiser for sending me the system. I'm definitely going to be hanging on to this because I'm sure it's going to come in handy. For those of you guys who are asking, yes, I'm going to have a review coming up on that solar guitar very soon. So make sure you're subscribed for that because I know a lot of you guys aren't going to want to miss that. And as far as my 30 videos in 30 days goes, I haven't keeled over yet from exhaustion. Got a special one coming up tomorrow, where I go to Vienna to take on the Lewitt crew in their own studio for a 1-hour drum setup, miking, and mixing challenge. That's right, we have an hour to set up, mic, and mix drums. It's me against the guys who built the microphones. It's gonna be very interesting to see how that one goes. Make sure you check it out tomorrow. See ya! Hey Ziz, how's it going? I tried this last night and I failed miserably at it. So today hopefully I'm gonna get it right. Anyway, all right, so here we go. Hang on a second. What frequency was Wi-Fi?